guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Francesca and today I'm going to be talking about all the books that I read this month. This is my first video on my channel and I wanted it to be a monthly wrap-up because I feel like that's something I want to do consistently. So for this video I wanted to talk about my June wrap-ups, all the books that I read in June. This month I read like I read 5 books this month and I loved every single one, so I'm going to just briefly go over them and give you my thoughts and opinions on these books. The first book that I read this month is part of an interconnected series. An interconnected series, if you don't know, is a series of books that doesn't necessarily need to be read in order, but if you do read them in order, they read perfectly. They read in order. The first 3 books that I read this month are the Part of Your World series by Abby Jimenez. So the first one is Part of Your World. Okay, so the female main character's name is Alexis and the main male character is Daniel. Basically, Alexis and Daniel are very different people. She is a very wealthy doctor and he is about 10 years younger than her and he lives in a small town a few hours away from her, but they meet one night, they get together, they have fun, and basically they just don't know if they can fit into each other's lives. They live completely different lives. I think you need to read the book to really understand the whole grasp of it all. But this was a really fun read. I really enjoyed it. If you're looking for something like light and quick to read, this is a really good option. I would read it again. It was super cute. I was fully grasped in it. I think I listened to some of it on audio and it reads just fine. It's really good. I know some books on audio aren't the best, but I thought this one was good. My rating for this book, I think I would give this about this would be like a 4-star rating for me. I enjoyed it so much, but I don't know what was missing from it, but it just wasn't a full 5-star read for me. The next book in the series is called Yours Truly, and I loved this book so much. But basically, this book follows Brianna. She's the female main character. She works at this hospital, and right now she's going through a divorce. Her brother is in need of a kidney donor. He has some kind of medical issue that is causing his kidney to fail. He hasn't been able to find a donor for a very long time, so she's just going through it, okay? And I think she's going for this position at her job for chief of emergency medicine, but she's under the impression that she's guaranteed the job, there's nobody else for the job, so, she thinks it's in her hands or whatever. And then her current chief hires a new doctor, and now she's under the impression that this new doctor is going to be her competition. And so she's just automatically doesn't like this guy. She can't stand him, and they have a awkward first run-in and whatnot. Also, I forgot to say, the guy's name is Jacob. He's the main male character. They have this really awkward first impression. She can't stand the guy. She's going through a lot, and he's just not helping. And so what she doesn't know is that the guy, he deals with a lot of anxiety, so he doesn't really know how to confront people and how to talk to people. So what he does is he writes her a letter. He writes her this letter, she reads it, and she loves it. It's a really good letter. And basically, she forgives him, and they kind of start exchanging letters to each other. They're communicating through letters, and it's just super cute. There's a lot of banter in this, and I really loved it. I was literally giggling and kicking my feet. I was waiting for the next letter to come, and I felt like I was the one writing the letters and exchanging them. I loved it so much. And basically there is a fake dating trope in this. That's I want to say that's kind of the biggest trope in this book is the fake dating trope. But this book could have been a 5-star read for me if it weren't for one singular thing, and that is that there is a miscommunication trope. There's a miscommunication trope, and I absolutely hate miscommunication tropes. I think they're stupid, they're garbage, and they piss me off. If it weren't for the miscommunication trope, I guarantee this could have been a 5-star read for me. But nonetheless, it's still a great book. I love it. I definitely recommend. You'll love it. You'll fall in love with the characters. Jacob is literally Jacob is perfect. And I could say that about all the men in this series, but the next book in this series is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. If you haven't read this book, if you haven't heard about this book, where have you been? You've been living under a rock, because I think everybody and their mother has been talking about this book, and for good reason too. I cannot express to you how much I love this book and how much I still think about this book. I'm currently in a bit of a reading slump because of this book. Okay, so this book is about a girl named Emma, and basically she believes that she has this love curse where every guy that she dates ends up finding their true love after they break up with her, or after breaking up with her. And basically she's scrolling on Reddit, and then she reads this thread from some guy named Justin, who supposedly has the same exact purse as she does. So she messages him one day, and they come up with this plan to like break the curse. So basically they say that they date each other and break up, they'll eventually find their true loves immediately after dating each other. It'll like cancel itself out. But in the end they start catching feelings for each other, but they just have a lot of complications. Emma has a really terrible relationship with her mother. She finds out a lot of things about her mother, and Justin is going to be taking custody of his 3 younger siblings soon. They don't know if things are going to work out with them. It goes on from there. But this book is a 5-star read for me. I absolutely loved this book. It put me in a reading slump, like I said earlier. I have not moved on, and it's specifically because of this one freaking paragraph in the book that I'm going to read to you right now. This isn't a spoiler or anything at all, but if you want to skip over it, I suggest just fast forwarding really quick, but it's not a spoiler, I promise. The best kind of love doesn't happen on moonlit walks and romantic vacations. It happens in between the folds of everyday life. It's not grand gestures that show how you feel. It's all the little secret things you do to make her life better that you never tell her about. Taking the end piece of the bread at breakfast so she can have the last little piece for her sandwich when you pack her lunch. Making sure her car always has gas so she never has to stop at the pump. Telling her you're not cold and to take your jacket when you're in fact very, very cold. It's watching TV on a rainy Sunday while you're doing laundry and turning her light off when she's fallen asleep reading. Sharing pizza crust and laughing about something the kids did and taking care of each other when you're sick. It isn't glamorous. It isn't all butterflies and stars in your eyes. It's real. This is the kind of love that forever is made of. Because if it's this good when life is draining and mundane and hard, think of how wonderful it will be when the love songs are playing and the moon is out. If you're an acts of service girl, like that quote, I think just sums up perfectly what it is to be an acts of service love language type of girl. Like I love this book. This is truly a rom-com. Like I was literally laughing out loud while reading this book. Like I was giggling and kicking my feet the entire time. Justin, he's so perfect. So the next book that I read this month is called One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I know I'm a little late. This book came out a while ago. Everybody's talked about it already, and I know. I haven't read it. I just read it. I loved it. The female main character's name in this book is also Emma. Emma marries her high school sweetheart, Jesse. They live a wonderful, beautiful life. They love each other so much, and you can feel their love for each other while reading this book. I loved it. The day before their first wedding anniversary, Jesse goes on like a work trip on a helicopter, and he goes missing. News comes out, the helicopter crash, he's gone missing, and whatnot. Emma's distraught, her whole family is distraught, his family is distraught, like, her life changes completely. Emma decides to move back home with her family, and like a few years later, she starts dating a guy that she knew in high school, and basically they have a really nice relationship. Emma's changed a whole lot. She's like a completely different person. She grieved the love of her life, but she had to learn how to live with it. So she starts dating this guy, and everything goes really well. Like, he's a great guy for her. She loves him very much. He proposes to her. They get engaged. One night while she's out with her family, she gets a call. Who is it? It's Jesse. Jesse Lerner, her dead husband. Her dead husband calls her in the middle of dinner with her parents and her fiance. Yeah, that's crazy. If you haven't read this book, you need to read it. It's such a beautiful book. I literally was crying so hard reading this book. It's such a great book. I will never stop recommending this book. This book was a 5-star read for me. This was definitely a 5-star read for me. I loved it so much. The last book that I read this month is none other than Funny Story by Miss Emily Henry. One thing about Miss Emily Henry is she's going to do it for me every single time. Another popular book that everybody's probably read already, but I'm going to give you a summary because I have to. I love this book, and I don't care if everybody's read it. If you haven't read it, you need to read it. Daphne has this fiance named Peter. She moves to his town. They're living together. They're planning a wedding, and then one day Peter realizes that he's in love with his girl best friend, Petra. So he comes home, and he tells Daphne that he's going to try it out with Petra. He's in love with her, and that he's going to date her, and that him and Daphne are done. So Daphne is left by her husband in a town that she doesn't know, and she doesn't know what to do. And the only other person that knows what she's feeling right now is Petra's ex. Miles. So she goes to Miles and they end up living together, they're roommates. They're very opposite people. In my head, he's like an older style Stilinski. If you watch Teen Wolf, he's like an older style Stilinski in my head. A lot of people compare him to Nick Miller from New Girl. I can see that too, but in my head, he's style Stilinski, but older. A lot of people didn't like him and they weren't attracted to him, like, but I personally loved him, but I also love style Stilinski and I love Nick Miller, so like, this was just right up my alley. Basically, they're roommates, they start fake dating trope, and like they're living together. You never know what's gonna happen, and there's like a founding family trope. I'm kind of just giving like a rough summary because I feel like everyone's read this already. But I love this book. It was so funny. It was truly a rom-com. I was laughing, I was crying, I was smiling, and I was frowning, and I was angry. I was feeling all the emotions in this book. This is a 5-star read for me. Again, 3 5-star reads this month. I loved it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. I recommend anything by Emily Henry you have to read. Even though I haven't read all her books. Yes. But anything I've ever read by Emily Henry has done me no wrong. I love her. I love her writing. And she writes about real people. And I think that's what makes her writing style like so good. Because like I felt like I could truly relate to both of these characters. And I think that's what made me love this book so much. You have to read it. So that's it for my June wrap up. Those were all the books that I read this month. I loved every single one of them. I want to keep making more videos. This is my first video ever, so if there's anything I need to improve, please let me know. I'm going to link all of my socials down below, and if you have any video ideas or any book recommendations for me, please comment them down below. I'm really excited for this new journey. I've been wanting to do this for a really long time, so I figured why not. And I love books. I truly love books. Nothing makes me happier. And nothing makes me, well, actually that's wrong. Nothing makes me happier than talking about books. I don't really have people to talk about books in my life, so I figured why not talk about it on the internet. So that's it for my video. Okay, bye guys.